Does Iran have nuclear weapons, or is it pursuing them? These are the questions the world has been asking for decades, yet no one seems to know the answer, not because of the ambiguity of Iran's nuclear program, but because of the lack of knowledge among people around the world. Today, we'll provide the information you need so that, once and for all, everyone can understand why Iran has 60% enriched uranium when it only needs 20% enriched uranium for peaceful purposes. Has Iran ever been pursuing nuclear weapons? And what is the future trajectory of Iran's nuclear program? But remember, I always save the best part for the end. So if you want to see how everything comes together, stick with this video until the end. Or if you're busy, save it so you can watch it later. And please give this video a like. It really helps me a lot. Thanks, and let's continue. It all started when Netanyahu came to the UN with a special blueprint. It was a blueprint showing a nuclear warhead mounted on an Iranian Shahab-3 ballistic missile. Unlike many of Netanyahu's drawings and what critics called his childish accusations against Iran, this one truly made the world nervous. He claimed that Iran was pursuing nuclear weapons. Today, many people believe he was lying because more than 25 years have passed and Iran still does not possess nuclear weapons. But what if I told you that at that specific moment, he wasn't lying? It all happened after the US invasion of Iraq. The American military captured Iraq so easily that it made the Iranian government extremely nervous. Both Afghanistan and Iraq were under US control, and American military bases surrounded Iran from nearly every direction. If an invasion had happened at that time, Iran would have had very little chance of defending itself. Then an unusual president came to power in Iran. His name was Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. During his 8 years as president, he repeatedly refused to answer one simple question: are you pursuing a nuclear bomb? But why? Iran's supreme leader had clearly declared that nuclear weapons were haram, forbidden. So why would Iran's president, who ranked below the supreme leader, refuse to give the same answer? This is where I think the blueprint in Netanyahu's hands may have been real. That blueprint was reportedly provided by a group called the Mojahedin Khalq, an organization that was responsible for killing thousands of Iranians. From the perspective of many Iranians, they were one of the country's most hated groups because they fought alongside Saddam Hussein against Iran during the Iran-Iraq War. They later handed the alleged blueprint over to Israel. So why do I believe it might have been real? Because if you look at the situation through Ahmadinejad's eyes, Iran had very few options. It wasn't necessarily about building a nuclear weapon to attack Israel. It was about creating a deterrent that could stop the United States from invading Iran from every direction. So it is possible that he asked Iranian scientists a simple question: is it possible to place a nuclear warhead on a Shahab-3 missile? And the answer may have been yes, we can do it easily. Most people don't know this. Creating a nuclear bomb is very easy. Pakistan and North Korea have had them for decades. Now, why can't Iran, a country that sells weapons to Russia, whose drones have been copied by America, NATO, China, and 19 other countries, and a nation that ranks among the top 3 highest IQs in the world, build nuclear weapons? The truth is, Iran could have built nuclear weapons 25 years ago, and an ICBM with a range of 14,000 kilometers 19 years ago when it sent the Omid satellite into space. But they didn't. That is why Ahmadinejad never became president again. He was disqualified from running for president by Iran's supreme leader, who was against nuclear weapons and was later assassinated by Trump. Trump even had a plan to bring Ahmadinejad back and make him the leader of Iran. How stupid can a person be? The only barrier preventing Ahmadinejad from getting nuclear weapons was Iran's leader, and the US not only killed that person but also wanted to put him back in his place. You tell me if Trump's plan makes any sense. Iran's former leader, Ali Khamenei, issued a fatwa declaring that nuclear weapons are haram. Everyone knows that, but what people don't know is that Iran's first leader, during the Iran-Iraq War, faced an existential threat. Saddam Hussein used chemical weapons against Iran and killed around 50,000 people. After Japan, with Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Iran ranks second among the victims of weapons of mass destruction. Saddam got those weapons from America. When Iranian generals asked their leader to allow them to make chemical weapons against Iraq, he said, "We are fighting Saddam Hussein, not the Iraqi people. The Iraqi people are prisoners of Saddam Hussein." Even today, after two leaders, Iran still sends free electricity and gas to Iraq.
Iraq is facing a rapidly worsening electricity crisis after Iranian gas supplies, critical to its power system, were suddenly cut off. The disruption followed reports that Israel struck a major natural gas facility in Iran's southern city of Bushehr.
Iran does not steal Iraqi assets. In fact, Iran provides Iraq with electricity and natural gas. And because the United States forces Iraq not to pay Iran, often the Iranians give that electricity and natural gas without being paid. And Ayatollah Khamenei, who was martyred, even during maximum pressure sanctions when the Iranian economy was doing poorly, he told the government not to halt those gas exports.
America forbade Iraq from paying Iran, and Iran's leader knew that if Iran stopped sending these crucial resources, the Iraqi people would suffer. No country has ever behaved this way before. Enmity between countries can last for thousands of years, but Iran changed hatred into love in a heartbeat. So Iran made it clear 4 decades ago that there is a difference between good and evil. And the same fatwa against weapons of mass destruction exists today. But why are the Iranian presidents who came after Ahmadinejad not looking for nuclear weapons and instead following the same line as Iran's leader? And, most importantly, why does Iran have 60% enriched uranium? Why did Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad want nuclear weapons? Because at that time, with Iran's limited capabilities, it was the only way Iran could defend itself against the US. But today, Iran has one of the top 3 missile programs in the world, even ahead of the US. Remember, Iran has 3 hypersonic missiles. 2 of them were used in 2 actual wars, while the US only has 18 Dark Eagle missile prototypes. Only Russia and Iran have used hypersonic missiles in actual wars, and Iran has used them much more than Russia. That's why Iran sees no need to build nuclear weapons. Iran can defeat the US in the region fair and square. All the GCC countries thought they could destroy Iran with the help of the US and Israel, but they found out that Iran cannot be defeated. But here's the shocking part. If Iran decided to completely destroy the GCC countries' power plants and water desalination facilities, all of those countries would be removed from the planet and would not exist today. But Iran isn't Israel and didn't destroy those key facilities. Instead, Iran struck only a very small portion of them, not with ballistic missiles, but with smaller drones. It was a warning after Iran's water desalination plants and power plants were hit. Iran reminded those countries that only 5% of Iran's population depends on seawater being turned into drinking water through desalination plants, while 98% of the GCC countries depend on those facilities. Iran has around 170 power plants, while each GCC country has only 2 to 5. Iran's logistics and infrastructure were built for war, while all the Persian Gulf countries are like Disneyland built on the desert. With all of that, Iran still refused to hurt their people, and that shows Iran doesn't even have a doctrine into which nuclear weapons can be integrated. Nuclear weapons are made for killing nations, and Iran has shown that it won't destroy nations under any circumstances. Due to the integration of FPV drones into modern warfare, massive numbers of ballistic missiles and long-range drones, and Iran's impassable mountains, Iran is unconquerable. That's why it is not pursuing nuclear weapons. But still, why does Iran have 60% enriched uranium? Because it's a bargaining chip. It's better to have something that you don't need so you can give it away and get what you do need. And in the worst-case scenario, if Iran ever found itself in a situation like Japan where 2 cities were hit by nuclear weapons, instead of surrendering, Iran could build 3 nuclear weapons in just 5 days, and a total of 20 nuclear weapons with that 400 kilograms of uranium. But here's the crazy part. Iran doesn't even need to build nuclear weapons. It can receive them anytime it wants from North Korea. Even during the recent conflict, Kim Jong-un proposed sending a few nuclear weapons to Iran, and the Iranian government refused. Yes, they refused free nuclear weapons. Personally, I wouldn't refuse a free pizza, so how and why they did it is beyond my comprehension. And there you go. Iran can become a nuclear power in 24 hours if it wants, but it refuses. And you can help us beat the YouTube algorithm by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Thank you for your awesome comments. You are the best. As always, this is Eastwind Brigade, where our voices unite and we rise together.